The Young and the Restless. YNR. Spoilers hint that Matt Clark, Roger Howarth, may have killed the real Mitch Bacall before he stole his identity. Is there a disturbing twist behind Matt's fresh start that'll ultimately be revealed? It's been confirmed that Roger Howarth is indeed playing Matt Clark, the old nemesis who caused so much chaos for Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, for so many years. However, Matt clearly wants everyone to believe he's Mitch, and that he's not associated with Matt's former life at all. According to Howarth's recent interview with SOD, Matt even believes it himself in some twisted way. If a person is pretending to be another person, you kind of know everything about that person. Matt, on some level, really believes in the life that he has been living all these years as Mitch, Howarth said. Based on how Howarth phrased things, it makes it seem like Mitch really was another person once upon a time. It sounds like Mitch stepped into someone's identity instead of just making one up. Of course, if Matt is pretending to be Mitch, that leaves fans with the question of what happened to the real guy who went by that name. To highlight just how sinister Matt is, perhaps YNR will reveal that he killed Mitch and stole his life from him at some point. Matt might have targeted someone who resembled him that wouldn't be missed, and used this as his chance at a clean slate. Whether Mitch got on Matt's bad side or simply became a victim because of the new life Matt wanted, Matt is certainly the kind of guy who'd take fatal action like this. There's no limit to how low Matt will sink. The story of how Matt became Mitch may be deeply unsettling, so stay tuned for updates on any other news about this identity switch and how it all went down. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Matt will keep up his denial for a while and continue messing with the Newmans in the meantime. The genteel, sun-dappled streets of Genoa City are a sanctuary for the elite, a world built on old money, powerful legacies, and secrets that fester just beneath the surface of polished marble. It's a town where newcomers are viewed with a mixture of curiosity and intense suspicion, and every fresh start is scrutinized for the hidden trauma or ambition that necessitated it. The arrival of Matt, a seemingly unassuming and kind-hearted man who has captured the heart of Sharon Collins, is no exception. On the surface, his story is one of redemption and hope, a man seeking to leave a troubled past behind. But for astute viewers of The Young and the Restless, the narrative surrounding Matt is fraying at the edges, revealing threads of a much darker, more terrifying possibility. What if the man we know as Matt is not a man seeking a fresh start, but a ghost who murdered for one? The mounting evidence suggests a chilling theory. The real Mitch is dead, and the man warming Sharon's bed is his killer, a cunning identity thief who has woven himself into the fabric of Genoa City using a dead man's name. The allure of the fresh start narrative. When Matt first arrived in Genoa City, his story was perfectly calibrated to appeal to Sharon's empathetic and nurturing nature. He spoke of a past marred by mistakes, a man who had paid his debts to society and was now yearning for a simple, honest life. He presented himself as humble, hardworking, and profoundly grateful for the second chance Sharon and the community offered him. This redemption arc is a classic trope in soap operas, and Sharon, with her own history of turmoil and recovery, was the perfect vessel for such a story. She saw in him a kindred spirit, a project for her boundless compassion, and a chance at a stable, mature love. However, the first cracks in this idyllic portrait began to appear in the subtle details. Matt is often evasive about the specifics of his past. When asked about his family, his former career, or the exact nature of his troubles, he offers vague platitudes or deftly changes the subject. He claims to have no remaining ties, no old friends who might call, no digital footprint from a life before Genoa City. In an era of hyperconnectivity, a man with no past is not just an anomaly, he is a red flag. This isn't the typical reluctance of an ex-con to relive painful memories. This is the behavior of someone who cannot afford for anyone to look too closely because the person he is pretending to be never actually existed in the way he claims. The ghost of Mitch, a life too easily erased. Let's examine the identity Matt has supposedly shed. The real Mitch, from what little we can glean, was a man who also had a troubled history. He served time, made enemies, and eventually decided to disappear. This is the foundational element the imposter exploited. A man who wants to vanish is the perfect target for an identity thief. Who would come looking for him? His old criminal associates would assume he's just lying low. The authorities would have little reason to dig for a man who has willingly dropped off the grid. The vacuum left by the real Mitch's disappearance was a vacuum our Matt was all too willing to fill. The theory posits that our Matt, let's call him Imposter Matt, crossed paths with the real Mitch in prison or in a halfway house. He saw in Mitch a golden opportunity, a man with no strong family ties, a manageable criminal record that he could explain away, and a stated desire to disappear. Perhaps they were alike in build and age. Imposter Matt, for reasons of his own, perhaps he was fleeing a far more dangerous past, maybe he was a wanted man himself, realized that the most perfect new identity isn't a forged document, but a real one belonging to someone who will never be missed. A confrontation ensued. It may have been a cold-blooded calculation or a violent struggle born of desperation. The result was the same. The real Mitch was killed, and Imposter Matt walked away with his name, his social security number, and his clean slate. This explains Imposter Matt's paralyzing fear of being discovered. It's not the fear of his petty criminal past being revealed, it's the primal terror of being unmasked as a murderer. Every casual question about his past is a potential landmine. Every old acquaintance from Mitch's life who might resurface is a threat to his entire existence. His entire relationship with Sharon is a house of cards, and the slightest breeze from the past could send it all crashing down. Spoiler deep dive: the telltale signs of a killer. Recent spoilers and on-screen developments have provided compelling fodder for this theory, transforming it from wild speculation into a plausible narrative trajectory. The unexplained absence of old connections. Spoilers indicate that a figure from Matt's past will attempt to make contact. Instead of a wary but familiar recognition, Matt's reaction is one of sheer, unadulterated panic. He doesn't just avoid this person. He actively works to discredit and drive them away from Genoa City, employing tactics that are far more aggressive than the situation seems to warrant. This isn't the behavior of a man ashamed of his old friends. It's the behavior of a man who cannot afford to be recognized by someone who knew the real Mitch. The bout of uncontrollable rage. In a recent episode, during a moment of high stress, Matt displayed a flash of temper that was completely at odds with his carefully constructed, gentle persona. He didn't just get angry. His eyes darkened, his voice took on a menacing tone, and for a fleeting moment, Sharon saw a stranger. This Jekyll and Hyde moment is a classic trope for characters hiding a violent nature. It was a crack in the facade, a glimpse of the ruthless individual capable of killing a man to steal his life. The digital ghost. As part of her innate desire to help, Sharon might use the resources of Crimson Lights or her connections to subtly look into Matt's background, perhaps to find a long-lost relative for a surprise reunion. To her shock, she will find nothing. No yearbook photos, no old employment records that match his stories, no trace of Mitch before a certain, very recent date. The records that do exist will be the bare minimum, a social security number, a prison record, the easy-to-forge skeleton of an identity. This discovery will be the first concrete evidence that something is profoundly wrong. A body is discovered. The most explosive spoiler, one that would send shockwaves through the narrative, would be the discovery of a body. Perhaps during a construction project on the outskirts of town, or in a wooded area linked to a cold case, authorities unearth the remains of a man who has been dead for several years. Dental records or DNA would eventually identify him as the real Mitch, who was reported missing around the time Imposter Matt began his new life. This would transform the storyline from a mystery into a desperate murder investigation, with Imposter Matt squarely in the crosshairs. The true tragedy of this theory lies in its impact on Sharon Collins. Having survived cancer, mental health struggles, and tumultuous relationships with the likes of Nick and Adam, Sharon has finally found a sense of peace and agency. She views Matt as a testament to her own growth and her ability to build something healthy and stable. To learn that her judgment was so catastrophically flawed that she has been sharing her life, her home, and her vulnerability with a liar and a possible killer would be devastating. It would be a betrayal that eclipses all others. This isn't a business rivalry or a romantic indiscretion. It is a fundamental violation of her trust and safety. The fallout would force her to question her own instincts, her famous empathy now recast as a fatal flaw. The fresh start she helped cultivate would be exposed as a grotesque lie, built on a foundation of murder. Her children, Mariah and Faith, would be drawn into the maelstrom, their safety compromised by the monster Sharon invited into their lives. The emotional ramifications would provide months of powerful material for the character, pushing her to a brink she hasn't faced in years. The domino effect on Genoa City. The exposure of Matt would not occur in a vacuum. The shockwaves would ripple throughout the entire city. Nick Newman, as Sharon's steadfast ex-husband and friend, Nick would be consumed by guilt and rage. He would launch his own investigation, using all of his resources to protect Sharon and uncover the full, horrifying truth. This could put him directly in the path of a cornered and dangerous imposter Matt. The Newman-Lawson dynasty, while not directly tied to the corporate world, a scandal of this magnitude, involving a close associate of a family like the Newmans, would inevitably become front-page news, causing PR headaches and distracting from business dealings. It would be a personal, rather than corporate, threat to the empire. Chance Chancellor, as chief of police, Chance would be at the center of the murder investigation. He would be forced to professionally and methodically dismantle the life of a man known to his friends and community, creating a tense dynamic between the GSPD and the civilians who feel they know Matt. A new big bad. If the imposter is exposed but not immediately caught, he could transform into a terrifying new villain for Genoa City. A man with nothing left to lose, who knows the town's secrets and its weaknesses, and who blames its residents for his downfall, could become a potent and personal threat to everyone involved. Conclusion: a ticking time bomb of deception. The man known as Matt is a paradox, a ghost living in plain sight. His fresh start is the ultimate deception, a performance so convincing that he may have even fooled himself for a time. But the past, especially a past stained with blood, is never truly buried. The theory that he killed the real Mitch and stole his identity is not just a dark fan speculation. It is a narrative puzzle where all the pieces are falling into place. The evasiveness, the flashes of rage, the impending arrival of a ghost from a life that wasn't his, all of it points toward a revelation that will shatter lives and redefine the meaning of trust in Genoa City. Sharon Collins, in her quest to heal a wounded soul, may have instead nurtured a viper. The cozy conversations at Crimson Lights, the tender moments at the ranch, all of it is underpinned by a horrifying secret. The fresh start is a ticking time bomb, and when it finally detonates, the explosion will leave no one untouched. The question is no longer if the truth will come out, but when and how many lives will be destroyed in the blast. The Young and the Restless. Y&R. Spoilers reveal that Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, is the kind of woman who's used to facing curveballs and adjusting to them. Just look at what happened when Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, changed the game and informed Audra that she'd be running Glissade with Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller. That news was the last thing Audra wanted to hear, but she chose to grin and bear it. Audra has proven she's determined to make Glissade a success and embrace this victory she's sought for herself. However, Audra could get blindsided over a more personal development if Y&R wants to deliver a real shocker. Since Audra hooked up with Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, recently, could their erupting passion have some consequences? Audra was adamant about just having fun and not making a big commitment, but what if she ends up pregnant? That could lead to a much more serious commitment to Nate than Audra anticipated. A baby is the last thing Audra wants right now, but unplanned pregnancies are common on soaps. What if Audra starts experiencing morning sickness and ultimately realizes she's got a bun in the oven? There's no guarantee the show will head in that direction, but the door is at least open for it now. Even if Audra isn't pregnant just yet, it could still happen since she's open to having more bedroom fun with Nate. Audra once suffered a difficult miscarriage, but she didn't come clean to Noah Newman, Rory Gibson, about that until much later. It was a painful ordeal for Audra, so another pregnancy could offer a second chance as motherhood. Although Audra clearly isn't looking to become a mother at the moment, she might change her tune if she winds up pregnant and has an opportunity to get used to the idea. Would you like to see Audra and Nate thrown into a surprise pregnancy storyline? Could that lead to Nate and Audra building a real family together? Our Y&R predictions indicate that Audra will continue to deal with some life shakeups, so we'll keep you posted as more updates emerge on her future. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Audra will try to concentrate on her career, but stay tuned to see if any baby drama might be brewing. The Young and the Restless Y&R spoilers tease that Adam Newman's Mark Grossman luck is finally turning around. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, could see that Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, was just playing it safe by sticking with him. He urged Chelsea to accept that she wanted to be with Adam, so it won't take long for their reunion to move forward. Connor Newman, Judah Mackey, is obviously going to be thrilled when he realizes his greatest wish is coming true. Adam, Chelsea, Connor, and Oliver the kitten are all going to be a beautiful family. This marks a shift from Chick to Chatham, which is for the best. Adam and Chelsea's love story has always been a complicated one, but there's a lot of passion involved. It's a far deeper relationship than Chelsea ever had with Nick, so it's nice that Y&R's finally giving Chatham fans what they've been asking for. In fact, it seems The Young and the Restless is making an effort to spice things up all around. It feels like a new year, new Y&R mindset. Suddenly, Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, has an ex-husband no one ever knew about. Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, appears to be getting a gripping cancer storyline. Big things are happening, so it's just exciting to see some shockers on the show. The Young and the Restless fans may have noticed the hospital set is back, which may have mainly been in preparation for Sharon's medical crisis. However, Y&R tends to take full advantage of that set when it's up. There'll surely be at least one Genoa City resident rushed in for emergency treatment. Since Adam's seemingly on the verge of his happily ever after with Chelsea and Connor, what's going to derail it? This is a soap, so we all know there's gotta be a catch. Perhaps some upcoming dialogue from Chelsea could serve as a hint. Adam and Chelsea will share a close moment as they discuss Connor's future at Walnut Grove. They'll be glad Connor's doing better and feeling more like a normal kid. As Chelsea bonds with Adam over their son, that familiar passion will rise within them. Nevertheless, Chelsea will want to vow before this goes any further. She's lost Adam too many times, so she'll have some commitment issues here. Chelsea will make Adam promise that if she surrenders, she's never going to lose him again. Adam will naturally make that promise, but is it one that he can keep? This may be an ominous hint about a close call still to come. Adam's keeping what could be an incredibly dangerous secret with Chancellor Donnie Boaz. Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, is determined to blow the lid off it, but she could stir up more trouble than she bargained for. Will Chelsea's worst fear come true? Will she find herself worrying she's going to lose Adam all over again? Now that the hospital sets up and this Vegas secret is about to explode, Adam could indeed land in grave danger. On the bright side, this could be exactly what Adam needs to earn forgiveness from the Newman clan. Maybe almost losing Adam once more could help them unite as a family, including Adam. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some hot drama's brewing, so don't miss all the action. We'll give you updates as other Y&R news comes in. Stay tuned to the CBS soap and don't forget to check CDL often for the latest Young and the Restless spoilers, updates, and news. The Young and the Restless Y&R spoilers recap for Wednesday, July 31st, tease that Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, will give Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, some advice. He'll be upset over Christian Newman being taken away from Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, but he'll at least want Adam to use this as a beneficial opportunity. This is Adam's chance to form a real bond with Christian. Jack will suspect the judge is hoping for a compromise through the current arrangement. He'll make it clear that Adam needs to demonstrate he deserves a place in Christian's life. Meanwhile, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, will talk to Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, about his latest issues. She'll agree with Sharon Newman's Sharon Case advice about contacting a professional. Over with Ray Rosales, Jordi Villasuso, he'll decide to seek a different path. Nick will hate hearing that Adam got inside Sharon's head once again. Ray won't want to investigate Adam anymore thanks to his relationship developments. He'll feel like he's being consumed by this, so he'll think another job is in order. Later, Ray will run into Paul and insist he'd like to come back to the force. He'll promise he's learned from his mistakes, so he'll eventually win Paul over. Y&R spoilers say Paul will reinstate Ray as a detective, but he'll warn that there's no room for error this time. At Society, Michael Baldwin, Christian LeBlanc, will have a little chat with Christine Williams, Laura Lee Bell. After Christine talks about how burnout she is, Michael will hint that she could step down right now. Christine will get the picture and note that Michael wants to be the new DA. He'll explain that he likes the idea, so Christina will vow to mull it over and get in touch with him soon. Other Young and the Restless spoilers say Theo Vanderway, Tyler Johnson, will hope to speak with Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, about her launch party plans. When Phyllis is too busy, Theo will get a bit annoyed. However, Phyllis will contend that she's working on a deal that could change everything. Afterward, Phyllis will fill Nick in on how his properties are being transferred back to him. She'll hope this could be a fresh start. Nick will admit he'd rather not fight with Summer Newman's Hunter King mom. He'll note that he was hurt badly by Phyllis, but he'll be willing to put the conflict to rest. In the park, Adam will blast Victoria for not taking his calls about visiting Christian. He'll think she's dragging her feet on it, but she'll suggest she'll have to look at her schedule. Next, Christine and Paul will spend some time discussing her future. Paul will let Chris know he'll support her whether she wants to step away now or wait. At Jabot, Kyle will continue to fret over Celeste Rosales, Eva LaRue, not attending the wedding. He'll confide in Jack and worry this won't be the nuptials of Lola Rosales, Sasha Kaye dreams. Jack will do his best to calm Kyle's panic before Billy arrives. Once Jack's alone with Billy, Phyllis will appear and announce she's got an offer to make. She'll be willing to sell them the Jabotique properties. Jack will have concerns since Adam didn't bring it up earlier. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis will confess she's leaving Adam out of a loop. Despite Jack's lingering questions, he'll decide the offer's just too good to refuse. After Phyllis heads out, Jack will advise Billy on his Delia drama. He'll point out that Billy's daughter would want him to get the help he needs. At Newman Enterprises, Nick will meet up with Victoria. He'll let her know he intends to keep a few properties, but he'll let Newman have the rest. Victoria will wonder what's up when Nick suggests he's getting back to his plan. He'll hope to find himself, but he won't divulge the details of how he's going to do that. Back at Dark Horse, Phyllis will be smug as she tells Adam he owns a real estate company with no real estate. She'll point out that the Grand Phoenix Hotel is hers since it was acquired by Summertime Incorporated. Adam will reveal that he pulled a fast one. The fine print explains that Phyllis actually owns a hotel schedule for demolition in Detroit. Adam will seem satisfied as he suggests Phyllis can keep her new penthouse. She'll vow to wipe the smirk off Adam's face, so we'll see what Phyllis has in store next. In the meantime, Kyle will reluctantly meet with Theo at Society. He'll gripe since he already told Theo he was dead to him. Theo will suggest Kyle might want to rethink that, which Kyle will view as a threat. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Theo will remind Kyle of a mess he cleaned up for him. Kyle won't want Theo holding that over his head, but Theo seems to have other ideas. We'll give you updates as other Y&R news comes in. Stay tuned to the CBS soap and don't forget to check CDL often for the latest Young and the Restless spoilers, updates, and news. The Young and the Restless, Y&R, spoilers tease that Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, could be making a huge mistake. Now that Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, is back in Genoa City, Nick is naturally concerned about the custody situation. Nick isn't Christian Newman's, Jude and Ozzie McGuigan, biological father, but he's raised this kid in Adam's absence and has been an excellent dad. It was even Adam's wish for Nick to raise Christian years ago. That's why Nick is probably going about this all wrong. Nick should really be trying to make Adam feel welcome and showing him some kindness. Even if that kindness was phony, it could still prevent the tension that's coming. Adam is a tortured soul right now, but you can bet he'll get his fire back eventually. In fact, that whole tortured soul thing may be an act. Y&R fans know Adam has a secret partner and has been doing some scheming. If he's out to get the Newman clan, things could get ugly. Regardless, alienating the man who would yank away everything you hold dear isn't the best idea. Nick is on the attack, but is that really going to help him keep Christian? It seems like Nick thinks he can intimidate Adam into leaving his father-son bond alone. However, Adam isn't the kind of guy who gets scared off easily. He's perfectly capable of intimidating right back, just like Victor Newman, Eric Braeden. Since everyone's so afraid of what Adam might do, he may ultimately live up to their fears. They expect the worst of Adam, so he may decide to meet those expectations. Once Adam's plot is exposed, there's bound to be backlash. Will that backlash bring out the darkness in Adam? How will that affect the war for Christian? If Nick had been more accepting and had shown Adam some support, maybe things would have been different. Nick's attitude could be partially to blame for the custody fight that's looming. Adam could argue that he doesn't want someone like him raising his son. The young and the restless spoilers definitely point to a fierce brother battle. Naturally, Victor could back Adam up. Even if a betrayal goes down, Victor may find a way to spin it. He might even be proud of Adam for doing something so Newman-like. Victor is desperate for a second chance, so he may overlook Adam's issues and focus on the positives. His son is alive, and that's what matters most at the moment. As for Chelsea Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, how will she feel when the re-enters the picture? Chelsea will certainly get caught up in the custody mess, so she'll have to pick a side. Since Chelsea loved both Adam and Nick once upon a time, that choice could get tricky. The young and the restless spoilers say Nick's right to be worried, so don't miss the storm that's brewing. We'll give you updates as other YNR news comes in. Stay tuned to the CBS soap and don't forget to check CDL often for the latest Young and the Restless spoilers, updates, and news. The Young and the Restless, YNR, spoilers for Monday, February 26, tease that Victor, Eric Braden, will make phone calls and deliver orders. He'll be determined to track Chelsea, Melissa Claire Egan, down and stop her from taking Connor, Gunnar, and Ryder Gadbois away from his family. Victor will definitely be furious about Chelsea's desperate move. Nikki, Melody Thomas Scott, will at least be pleased about Christian's, Jude, and Ozzie McGuigan return. Victor and Nikki will agree that this is a terrible situation. Meanwhile, Nick, Joshua Morrow, will tell Christian that it's just them now. He'll note that only Chelsea and Connor are going on the secret trip. Across town, Phyllis, Gina Tugnoni, will give Hillary, Miss Hale Morgan, a pep talk. Hillary won't think there's any hope of earning Devon's, Brighton James, forgiveness, but Phyllis will push for patience. She'll add that Devon's romance with Simone, Shanika Knowles, will be a thing of the past soon. Hillary will want to concentrate on getting pregnant instead. She'll vow to revisit her sperm donor search, but some disturbing nightmares will change her mind. Hillary will confide in Mariah, Cameron Grimes, later. She'll get emotional as she talks about bailing on the plan. Hillary won't want to make a baby unless she's in love with the father. Devon will catch Hillary in a vulnerable moment, but she'll quickly regain her composure. The Young and the Restless spoilers say they'll bicker about the show, so Hillary will quit. However, Devon will remind Hillary that she has a contract. He'll note that she'll have to pay a hefty fee if she leaves now. Hillary will wonder why Devon wants to keep her on board. He'll suggest it's because she's the face of all this. Devon will contend that the success of GC Buzz depends on Hillary's involvement. At the